In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some tips, tricks, and hidden features for the Samsung Galaxy S23 series. This is great for your S23 or your S23 Ultra. By the end of this video, you'll be a Samsung Galaxy S23 expert. Let's get started. The first tip I want to show you today is how to hide applications on your home screen. All you have to do is just pinch in and press the settings button in the lower right here. And that opens up the home screen settings. And there's an option right here at the bottom that says hide apps on home and app screens. You just tap that and you scroll down and you find whichever apps that you don't want displayed on the home screen and you select them. So let's say LinkedIn, we don't want LinkedIn on the home screen. We can hit done and now LinkedIn will no longer appear on the home screen. So just like that, you can swipe in, head over to the settings and select hide apps on home and app screens and pick which apps you want to hide, and then they'll no longer appear on your home screen. So that's really helpful if you want to hide certain apps on your device. So the first thing you want to do now that you've got your Galaxy S23 set up is head over to the Play Store and update all of the applications that are on your phone. You can hit your name in the top right there, the little icon that has your first name letter, and then go to Manage Apps and Devices. And then you'll see updates available. 19 updates are pending. So we'll want to update all of our software to make sure that we're on the latest and greatest software when we're using our phone. So we'll just tap the Update All button, and then all of these apps will begin to install and be updated to their latest version. The next tip I want to share with you revolves around your screen resolution. We can head into the settings by swiping down and pressing the settings button, and then scroll down to display. And then we can scroll down to screen resolution. On the Ultra, it's not enabled, the highest resolution here is not enabled by default. And we can switch it over to WQHD+, which is the highest resolution, sharpest visuals, and it uses more battery, but it makes the screen amazing. You can hit apply, and I highly recommend you take advantage of the full resolution that you can get on your Galaxy S23 Ultra. It makes it really beautiful and great when looking at things on the display. So you just head into your settings, you scroll down to display and head over to screen resolution, and you can modify it and change it to WQHD+, which increases the display resolution for you. So check that out, and I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. In order to wake our phone, we just press the button on the right side, and then we can swipe to unlock. I have a PIN set up, so I'll go ahead and enter that PIN off camera, and then it unlocks the device. What I'm going to show you today is how to set up the biometrics and additional security measures on your phone. So we set up a PIN during login. Let's head over to our settings. There are multiple ways to get to our settings to set up the biometrics. We can swipe up from the bottom of the phone, and this opens up all of the apps that we have on our phone. And we can swipe over, and we can see there's a second page with the settings application. And I can tap on it and get to settings. Now, if I want to go back to the home screen, I can just press this button right here in the middle, and it goes right back to the home screen. Another way that we can get to settings is to swipe down from the top, and this opens up the notification center and also your settings at the top right, your control panel. You can press the settings button in the top right up here, and that will take you to settings too. And you can access the control panel no matter what screen you're on. You can just swipe down and hit the, oh, that's the flashlight. We can hit the settings button and go to the settings. Okay, now that we've got our settings open, we can scroll down to security and privacy, and here we can enable additional methods for our biometrics and also the lock screen. So let's start off with the fingerprints. I'll go ahead and enter my current PIN off camera, and then it allows me to set up the fingerprints. So I'll hit this continue button right here, and then to get the best scan, press with the pad of your finger inside the circle. So we'll go ahead and hit register, and I'll start registering my fingerprint. So here I'm doing my thumb. It says make sure your finger is pressed inside the circle. And here I'll give it multiple reads. Press your finger inside the circle. And here I've successfully added a fingerprint to the phone. Now I can unlock it with my thumb. I'll go ahead and hit done, and we'll test it out. So now when we lock the button using the right lock button on the side, and then we tap on the phone, I can use my fingerprint to open it and unlock it. So now I have a PIN set up, and now I also have my fingerprint set up for maximum security. I can continue to scroll down here and tap on biometrics and set up face recognition. I'll type in my PIN off camera, and now it's going to allow me to set up face recognition, a convenient way to unlock your phone and verify yourself in apps. I'll hit continue, and then it's going to look for my face. So it's registering my face. It asks me to take off my glasses, and I'll hit continue, and my face was successfully registered. So now when I lock the phone and I open it up, it unlocks just from me looking at it. And that's a very cool feature. So now I've got facial recognition set up, fingerprint set up, and a PIN set up. So my phone is now most protected by all three of those options. The next feature I want to talk about, which is really cool, is stacks. You can have widgets stacked on top of each other. So you just hold down on the widget. Right here we are holding down on the battery widget, and then we can press the create stack button. And I can scroll here and find another widget that I want to select and add to the stack. So I can go to the clock and then add a digital clock. And now I have a stack between the battery widget, which I can swipe over and see there, and then I can swipe back over to the clock. And all you have to do is just hold down on your widgets and click Edit Stack, and you can see which widgets you have in the stack. So we've got the battery stack, or the battery widget here in the stack, the clock in the stack, and then if we want to add more, we can come down in here and add that. So maybe for LinkedIn, we can add the search widget. And then now we've got the LinkedIn widget, the clock widget, and the battery widget, and we can swipe in between those right on our home screen just like that. So this helps save screen real estate. If you have more than one widget that you want on your home screen but you don't want to take up a lot of space, you can combine them in a stack, and that way it combines them all together and you can swipe between them easily just like that. So I highly recommend checking out stacks for widgets. When you combine them, it makes it easier to have more screen real estate on your screen. In order to add apps to your home screen, all you have to do is just swipe up, find an app that you like. Let's say we'll use the Settings app again. Tap and hold it and drag it to the top, and then your home screen will appear and you can select where you want it. We can put it in the top left here, and now I've selected an app from my app library and dragged it onto the home screen, and I can tap on it to open it up. So that's how we drag and add apps on your home screen. Another cool thing you can do is have multiple home screens. So I can click and drag this to another home screen, and it creates a new screen just like that because I dragged it to the edge. I can move this Microsoft folder with it and add that over there. So now I have a home screen on the left and a home screen on the right. So you can have more than one home screen and designate apps based off the type or your favorite collections, depending on how you'd like your phone to be, that can be on multiple different screens. By default, when you hold down the side button on your Galaxy, the Bixby widget pops open. You can head into your settings and change that by searching for side key. So you hit the search bar and you type in side key. It's an advanced feature, and now I can dictate what happens right under here. It says press and hold. Right now it's set to wake Bixby. I can change that to the power off menu. So now when I press and hold, the power off menu pops open, and I can power down, restart, emergency call, or go back here into the settings. Another cool feature is the double press side key button. When you double press by default, it opens the camera for the quick launch camera setting. You can change that to open up any application on your phone. You can come in here and say you want the phone to pop open every time you double tap. You can enable that, and now when I double tap on the side, the phone pops open. Now I can swipe at the bottom to head back over to the side key settings. I'm going to keep it for the quick launch camera. Love launching the camera quickly by double tapping the side button. But definitely for the press and hold, I'd love to see the power menu versus Bixby. So I press and hold and the power menu pops open rather than Bixby. So that's how you change the side key actions on your Samsung Galaxy S23 series. And if you you can also turn off the double press if you don't want it on at all, but I'm going to leave it on. You can make your decision whether you want the double press on, whether you want it to open up an app, or whether you want the press and hold to wake Bixby or power off the menu to pop up. So that's a quick setting that you can change, and I hope you enjoyed that tip. Next up, I want to show you how you can modify widgets. If you hold down on your home screen here, you can come in here and select widgets, and we can add a battery widget or a Bixby Vision, a calendar, Chrome, clock. There's tons of ideas here for widgets that we can add, but let's stick with the battery option. We'll hit add, and then we'll hit OK, and now it adds that widget to the home screen. And we can come in here and hold down on that widget and resize it, just like that, by dragging the little options that are around it. We can scroll back to the first home screen here. You can see that they've got the Google widget. We can also drag the options there to resize that. So Samsung makes it really easy to customize the options that are on your phone and resize them to your personal liking. We can hold down on this and drag it to this front page here, just like that. And then it's a little bit big, so we can probably keep it on the smaller side since we have more than one widget on this screen. And then we can tap on the weather widget that opens up here. But if we go back to the home screen and hold down on the weather widget, we can resize it just like that. So Samsung makes it really fun to customize the home screen and modify the different widgets based off their size and where they are on the home screen. So that's a quick demo of widgets. You can just hold down on your home screen and then tap the widgets button in the bottom to get access to them, and then scroll down and all your widgets are right there, ready to be added to your home screens. And of course you can have multiple widgets on multiple home screens and have whichever widgets that fit your phone's personality best. For S23 Ultra people, you can pop out your S Pen and start writing on the screen anywhere. So it makes it really helpful to create notes, and that's all you have to do. Just pop out the S Pen, the screen can be locked, and you can hit save at the top and it saves that in Samsung Notes. And then you can pop your S Pen right back in, and just like that you're able to jot down a note. And I think that's super helpful. So just remember, you can pull out your S Pen at any time and start writing on the display. Another cool feature that Samsung has, if you hold down and scroll over to the left, you can switch it over to Samsung Free. And they have different options here for the news feed. So once you go ahead and select that, we can go back to the home screen and Free will pop open. So stay on top of the latest news. We can go ahead and hit cancel there. But Samsung Free, it offers different entertainment options. We can hit continue, and we'll have to check the terms and conditions in the privacy agreements. So we'll go ahead and agree, and now it shows Samsung Read. So we've got watch, listen, and play. And these are all offerings from Samsung. So find out first, stay on top of the news by turning on breaking news app notifications. You can always turn them on or off later. We'll go ahead and hit cancel there, but if you want notifications, you can hit turn on. And if you prefer the Google version, you can hold down and go back to Google Discover, and then go back to your home screen. So that's Google Discover is more integrated to Google products if you have a Google account. And if you have a Samsung account, your Samsung Free will probably be the better choice for you. So Samsung Free, I'll set that up and can read the headlines and check out the entertainment options that they have here on Samsung Free. The next tip I want to share with you is split screen. If you're in an app, you can have another app open at the same time. So right now we have Chrome open, and if I swipe up, I can tap on the Chrome logo at the top and say open in split screen view. And this will enable me to select another application. So we can say the phone app, for example, and now I've got the phone app open on the very bottom, and then I've got the Chrome window open on the very top. I can adjust how big I want the Chrome window to be, and I can come in here, I can interact, go to the home page, and then I can also type on the phone number section here. So this is a really cool feature, and in order to get there, all you have to do is just open an app, swipe up, and tap on the logo, and then say open in split screen view. And that allows you to be using two apps at the same time, and I think that's really cool. So we can come here and select the settings app, and now I can use the settings app while I'm on the Google page. So check out that feature. Another cool feature is if you swipe up and you access the control panel here, you can say open in pop-up view, and that will put this app on the screen. So you can move it around, you can put it in the corner, you can open up another app, and you can move that same app around. Oops, that's the notification panel. So we can move around the phone app while we're also using Google. And I can come in here and go to collections, and then I can type in a phone number. So I've got both apps open at the same time on the screen. I can tap to get some controls here. I can close out of the app. I can tap again and see them. I can expand the app. I can even control how transparent this window is right here. So now I can see both windows at the same time, but we're going to keep the transparency at the top there. So you can tap to get the settings. We'll go ahead and exit out of the pop-up mode, but that's another cool feature that you have. You can be in pop-up mode or you can be in split screen and use multiple apps at the very same time. Let's take a look at the navigation bar at the very bottom. On your Samsung Galaxy S23, when you open an app, if you want to go home, you just press the button in the middle there. If you want to look at all the other apps that you have open or recently used, you just tap the left button on the side here and you can navigate between all the different apps that you've recently opened. And if you want to go back, you can hit this button right here. But there's another way on the Samsung Galaxy S23 that you can navigate and use your phone using gestures. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. Let's go to our settings. So I'm going to swipe down from the top and tap on the settings button and then scroll down to display. So display is right here. And then you can scroll down over here to navigation bar and it will provide you with options here. So right now the buttons are set up as the primary navigation method, but you can switch to the swipe gestures. And when we do that, you'll notice the navigation bar disappears. And now when we use the phone, in order to go home, we just swipe up and it goes home. So with these new navigation controls for swipe gestures, you just swipe up to go home and you swipe up to the center to bring up your recently used applications, and I can go back. And then in order to go back within an application, you swipe from the edge, and you can swipe from any edge here, whether it's the left side or the right side, and you just swipe into the center and it will go back. So just like that. Now we can demo that again. We can scroll down to display and then scroll down to navigation bar, and if I want to go back, I just swipe to the center of the screen, and I can swipe to the center of the screen no matter whether it's on the left or the right edge. And then to go home, we swipe up, and then to get to our apps that we recently used, we swipe up and go to the center of the screen, and we can review the recently used applications just like that. So in order to open up our recently used applications, we just swipe up to the center there on our new gesture system. If we want to close one of these applications, all we have to do is just swipe up and it closes the app, just like that. And if we want to close all of them to save some memory, we just hit the close all button and it closes all of our recently used applications. So now when we swipe up, no recently used apps are currently open. And if I open up a new app and I swipe up, it's there. And I can swipe to close it out. So that's how you close out applications. The next tip I want to share with you is in the quick panel here. If we come down and select the three dots in the top right, it allows us to edit the buttons that are in the quick panel. And from here, I can scroll over and see which buttons I currently have. If I want to add in NFC, I can drag that and rearrange the entire quick panel based off what I prefer. So I can add camera access. I can just drag that to the top there. And now that's easy. When I swipe down, camera access is there. So you can add all of these available buttons here. I've got over a dozen buttons that you can add. We can add live caption. We can drag that right into the panel here. And just like that, I have modified the buttons that are in the panel, and then you just press done at the very bottom when you've finished it. And now I've got all these different actions here. I can have quick camera access and just swipe down, and all of the buttons that I've added, the NFC is here, or right here in the control panel. So it's really cool that you can modify which buttons show up here in the quick panel. And just like that, you just press the three dots and then click edit buttons, and you can add whichever actions that you want quick access to right there. The next feature I want to talk about is called edge panels, where you can slide your finger from the edge of the screen next to the power button and apps pop up. And you can have different options for this in your settings. So if I want to open up the settings app, I can do that. I can swipe up and try the edge panels one more time and press the settings button. And here I can have apps, live messages, people, smart select, tasks, weather, tools, reminder, and clipboard. So whichever one you'd like, you can have selected. So when you swipe from the edge, they pop up. I'm going to keep it as apps, but if I go back to home and I swipe from the power button, the edge of the screen, and onto the screen, the edge panels pop up and these different apps pop up, and I can open up the calculator quickly, or I can go back and open up free very quickly. So just like that, just edge panels, you swipe from the edge of the screen next to the power button and all the apps pop open. If you want to modify the apps that are in the panel here, you can press this edit button and then drag in new ones. So we can scroll down, we can drag in the Galaxy Store, we can take out some just by pressing the minus button on them. If we don't want the Chrome engine or YouTube in there, then we can drag in LinkedIn, drag in the internet browser, and just like that, I've modified some of the apps that are in the panel here. So now, when I swipe open, those apps are there. Those new apps, LinkedIn, internet, are right there in the browser, and I can press the edit button again to make other modifications as needed. The next tip I want to share with you involves the side button for when you hold down. Right now you see three options: power off, restart, and emergency call. But they also have a more advanced option that we can come in here and go into the settings, scroll down to the lock screen, right here, lock screen, and then secure lock settings. And it'll ask you to enter your PIN, so I'll enter my PIN off camera. And now I'm presented with multiple options here for secure lock settings. The one I want to show and tell you about is show lockdown option. So this, once you enable it and you access the lock button right here and you hold it down, lockdown mode pops up. And this disables notifications and disables the biometrics like your fingerprint and your facial recognition to unlock your phone. So if you're ever in an emergency and you don't want your face to be unlocked, or your fingerprints to be used to unlock, or if you just want to have full protection over who's entering your phone, you just enable lockdown mode. And the only way to get in once you enable this is to swipe up and enter your PIN, which has to be at least 4 digits, but it recommends 6 digits. So lockdown mode, you have to enter your PIN. I'll enter my PIN off camera, and then I'm back into my phone. So I highly recommend enabling this feature. So once you have show lockdown option set up and you hold down the power button, lockdown mode pops open, and you can enable that, and it'll disable any notifications for popping up on your phone, and it'll disable the ability to log into your phone using your facial recognition and your fingerprint. It'll make the default mode to log in as your password, your PIN number, and that's the only way you can get back in. So that's lockdown mode, really neat feature, and I think you'll like it. The next thing I want to talk about is the camera. The Samsung Galaxy S23 has a 200 megapixel camera, and you can access it just by double pressing the power button, and it opens up the camera. You can also access the camera from the lock screen just by sliding over from the bottom right, and that opens up the camera. And of course, you see once we unlock the device, there's a camera icon in the lower right, and we can tap on that to open up the camera. So there are multiple ways to get access to the camera, but once you're in, you have full access to its beautiful power of 200 raw megapixels to be able to capture things. It's also great in low light photography, and the cameras here are perfect at shooting photography at night. You can switch your different modes right here on the bottom between portrait, photo, video, and more. And they have a ton of modes here for expert raw, pro video, but we'll switch back to photo. And I got a notification coming in there. At the top, we've got our settings that we can access in the camera app. So we can tap on the settings icon and it will bring up different options here that we can modify to make our shots better. And then we've got the flash. We can toggle that to auto or on. We'll go ahead and toggle that off. We've got a timer option, so if we want to have the shutter click at a certain time, we can go ahead and do that. Then we got the ratio here between 3:4, 9:16. So you can select your different ratios there. And then we've got motion photo on and motion photo off. Motion photo takes a little video of your subject once you're taking a shot and includes that in. So you kind of get to see in real time what you actually took a photo of. And then here we've got filters that we can swipe between warm, cool, light, and then face filters too. So that's fun to play with. So those are the options there for your camera once you set up your Galaxy S23. When you swipe down to access your notification center and controls here, you can also dig deeper by swiping further down on the controls and get full access to multiple options here between airplane mode, flashlight, mobile hotspot, power saving, all these options here, and then the brightness that we can adjust right here. So it's really cool that you can access all of these settings no matter what app you're in. If you're in Google Chrome here, you can just swipe down and then access these quick settings here by swiping down again on the icons. And then you can go back to Google Chrome or open up another app, the camera app, and swipe down and get access to all of these settings just by swiping down. So swiping down from the top and then swiping down further on the control panel icons here opens up an additional settings here. So that's something to check out if you want to modify the settings on your phone quickly without having to dive all the way into the settings app. You can do that right from the top of your phone just by swiping down and swiping down further. Next up, let's review some of our notification settings. If we go scroll down from the top and tap on the settings icon, we'll open up the settings app, and right here it says notifications. And we can tap on it and see what our app notifications are. So once we tap on that feature here, we see which apps have access to sending us notifications and which apps do not. And if you don't want an app to send you a notification, you can just swipe it off just like that. And if you do want it, you can swipe it on just like that. And this is really helpful if you get a lot of notifications from apps that you don't really want or need, and it clutters up your notification feed. Then you can come in here and decide which ones deserve to be notifying you on your feed and which ones do not. And I think it's really helpful. You can even tap on an application and go into even deeper detail, whether it appears on the lock screen, whether a badge pops up on the actual app on the home screen, or whether a pop-up appears while you're using your phone. If you don't want it to show up on the lock screen, you just tap it. If you don't want a badge to show up, you just tap that. And if you don't want a pop-up to be allowed, you tap that too. And depending on which app it is, you may want a badge to be shown but not a pop-up. And you can mix and match based off your preference for that application. I'll go ahead and leave the notifications on for Google so they can send me notifications on the lock screen, the badge, and the pop-up section. But we can take a look at another app here. If we scroll down, we can see that the Samsung internet is enabled, and I can come here and turn off lock screen notifications for that, or the badge for that, or the pop-up for that. So just like that, by tapping into your notification settings, you can control who sends you notifications, which app sends you notifications, and how they appear on your phone. And it makes it really easy to make it very clean if you have too many notifications popping up on your phone. So that's the app notification section. I highly recommend, once you install all your favorite apps, to go in and modify and pick which ones deserve to send you notifications and which ones do not. Let's head over to our settings where we can check out our next feature. So to get to the settings, we just swipe down and we tap the settings icon in the top right. And now I want to take a look at modes and routines. So right here, modes and routines. They've got various different modes here: sleep, theater, driving, exercise, relax, work. And depending on the situation of where I am and what I'm doing, I can enable a mode or have the phone enable the mode, and it will help me, live better and help my phone, set its different settings based off that situation that I'm currently in. So for example, with the sleep mode, it'll help me set the right environment to sleep well and wake up on time. So I can go ahead and set this up. Typically I go to bed around 11, so I can scroll to 11, and then waking up at 7 sounds great. And here it says sleep time is 8 hours, and it selects the days. It's selected every day in the week for this alarm to wake me up. If I don't want to wake up on Saturday and Sunday, I can go uncheck that just like that. And now it'll only wake me up weekdays, Monday through Friday, and I've got the wake up alarm enabled. And then I can hit next. So now it's asking me if I want to turn on Do Not Disturb to avoid distractions in this mode. And I can come in here and I can select people that I would like to have access to call me, and I can add in contacts there, or I can select apps that can also notify me while this mode is on. So if I have a very important app that sends me notifications, Let's, for example, pick YouTube. I always want to be notified when my favorite YouTubers are publishing their videos. So I'll go ahead and pick them there, and I can swipe back. And now when Do Not Disturb is enabled, the app notifications for YouTube will come in, but no other app will come in for notifications, only YouTube, because that's the only one that I selected here. And then I can hit next. So choose settings to apply when sleep mode starts. I can turn on grayscale, it looks like that's already on. Dark mode, and eye comfort shield. This makes it really easy on your eyes. It helps for blue light when you're looking at your phone. And then we've got sound mode and volume. I can turn it on vibrate. I can say the ringtone can be a certain percentage based off this mode. And then the notification, same here. So the volume of these system-wide things, I can select between ringtone, notifications, and system. So it's cool that I can customize based off each one a unique level of volume. So there doesn't have to be one size for all of them. So just like that, we got ringtone for 33%, the notifications at 60%, and the system volume at 46%, and done just like that. I can enable a power saving mode, and now I have all of these options enabled just like that. So now it asks me how I want this to be turned on. So we can have it turn on automatically, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Or I can come in here and modify that sleep schedule and create conditions. And this is where it gets really fancy. If you want to, you can say when the Wi-Fi is turned on, this turns on. Or when the Wi-Fi strength is disconnected, 4 bars or less, 3 bars or less. So you can come in here and specifically modify based off of which actions happen on your phone or which condition they call it, and then that's when this will turn on. So this mode will be turned on automatically when at least one of the conditions below are met, and turned off automatically when none of the conditions are met. So there are plenty of options here for conditions that you can select. So whenever this option is enabled on your phone, the mode will be enabled. And then when that mode is disabled, the condition is not met anymore. So I'm going to turn this condition off because I'm connected to Wi-Fi all night. So I don't want it to disconnect when I leave. I want it to be on while I'm on Wi-Fi. So we'll keep it on the time schedule to keep it simple, and then we'll hit done. And all these modes will be enabled to help me sleep better. And that's a really cool setting that you can have enabled. So definitely recommend checking out the modes and routines. We can come here and minimize distractions in the theater. So this mode can be turned on for a time period, a place, or when an app is open. It's probably best if you select place and then select your local movie theater that you go to. That way, as soon as you get to it, it'll automatically turn on theater mode. But if you have a certain time period where every weekend you go at this certain time, that could be easier too. Or when an app is open, if you have to scan your movie ticket, you can select when that app is open, and then it'll turn on this mode for you. We'll go ahead and hit cancel there and swipe back and see what other modes are available. They've got a driving mode, so get ready for driving by opening maps and eliminating disruptions from apps and notifications. So this can happen when you connect to your car's Bluetooth device. So you can say when it's connected or disconnected. We would have to come in here and select the Bluetooth device. Ooh, that's a lot of Bluetooth devices right there. We'll go ahead and swipe back and see what other modes are available. We've got an exercise mode set. Turn on when you start exercising to stay focused on your workout. So I can hit start, and I can say during exercise, and then I have to set up Samsung Health in order to set this up properly. Or I can say when an app is open. So we'll swipe back and see what other modes and routines we can have. We can have a relax mode. Turn on when you need a break. Relax mode minimizes distractions and helps you focus on relaxing. So we can make this based off a place when I get to a destination, or we can select a time period. If I want to relax, sunrise until sunset, or a specific time each day or week. And then we have work. So work's not set, but we can stay focused on work by setting the phone to only ring with certain people based off that place that I'm at. So if I go to the physical office, then when I'm there, it won't ring based off the location that I'm currently at, or I can set a time period. And those are the modes and routines. Another cool option here is you can add your own custom mode into the phone. You just select the icon and you name it and select the color. And then you can actually come in here and decide what happens, whether you want to turn on Do Not Disturb, restrict app usage, which settings change, whether you want the wallpaper to adapt. So whether you want to select a custom mode, or whether you want to create a custom mode, or whether you want to select a pre-selected mode that was generated for you. Ton of options already here for modes and routines. The next feature I want to talk about in the settings is the wallpaper and style. You can come in here and update your wallpaper just by tapping on it and changing it to a different one. You can also change the way it looks, and this is amazing because there are a ton of customization options here. So you can select the different styles that they have. You can change the color of the wallpaper, the clock here. You can change the font, and this looks like a totally different wallpaper than what I just started with. And I can see what that looks like in the different styles. So you can come into your wallpaper settings and modify that, hit done. We can tap on it again and modify what happens in the lower left, whether we want to change to a different app. We can change this to the flashlight. We can change the camera to the calculator. And just like that, it's been modified. We can add some contact information here. I can enter text. We can say sample text and then hit done. But if you want people to know your phone number or be able to call you. So now this looks like a completely different home screen than what I originally started with. I've got some text at the very bottom. I've changed the icons at the very bottom. I've changed the font, the color. And now when I hit done and lock the screen, we'll see all those changes. So I'll go ahead and double tap and wake the phone up. And now I've got the sample text at the bottom. Now this button turns on the flashlight. Now the flashlight turns on when I swipe to the left. And then if I want the calculator, I swipe this way. So the home screen has been totally customized, and I can come in here, I can change the wallpapers. They have tons of options for wallpapers here. So I can see what other featured wallpapers they've got. I can scroll down. I like this one right here. We can set the lock screen and home screen. And then hit done. And that's what that wallpaper looks like. So you can come in here, change the different lock screen wallpapers in the home screen ones if they have matching ones. I've got the photos that will be in my gallery. If I have any photos or videos on my own phone, I can select that and put that as my wallpaper. And they've got some graphical wallpapers here that I can change. Let's see, let's go back. I like this one. And we can select that for the home screen and lock screen. So now when we go home, it looks like this. And then when we lock the device and double tap to wake it up, it looks like this. So that's a preview there of the wallpapers. And we can swipe back and see what other options here, the color palette, and then dim wallpaper when dark mode is on. So those are your options for your wallpaper and style. You can come in here and modify how your Samsung Galaxy S23 looks and make it your own, whether you want to add your own personal photo that you took as your wallpaper, or select one of the pre-selected or pre-installed wallpapers that came with the phone. You can do that. And of course you can modify the time, the colors, everything here on the lock screen to make it truly your own lock screen. So it looks awesome when you change the fonts and you change the colors, and you make it look to match your wallpaper and your current setup. So that's a quick preview there of the new wallpaper options inside your Galaxy S23. This has been a video about tips, tricks, and hidden features for the Samsung Galaxy S23 series. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like this video, comment below, consider giving us a super thanks to help out the channel. We really appreciate your support at AppFind, and we can't wait. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications to know when we release our next video, and we appreciate your support for this channel. Thanks for watching.